Hi everybody, we're going to be talking about notes from the 7th grade Common Core lesson 7.1, angles. There's 3 vocabulary words that you need to be familiar with, so please make sure that anything I write down, you write down, and that you need to come to class making sure you have some basic understanding of the vocabulary. The first vocabulary word that you need to be familiar with is adjacent angles, and that's 2 angles that share a common side and a vertex, the point where the 2 sides meet. I've listed all of the adjacent angles for this diagram. So angle DBC is adjacent to DBE. They're next to each other. Those are next to each other. Okay? And as you notice, I've used an angle indicator as part of labeling the angles, and I've used 3 letters because the angles are indicated with 3 letters. The second vocabulary word is vertical angles, and that's angles that form from intersecting lines that are opposite. It's actually the word 2. 2 angles that form from intersecting lines that are opposite from each other, and they have the same measure. Angle A is opposite from angle C, which means they're vertical, which means they have the same measure. Angle D and angle B are opposite of each other across, meaning they're vertical, which means they're equal. And because each of the angles are labeled with 1 letter, I've indicated them with 1 letter. An angle indicator, A, and angle C are vertical. Right? So adjacent are next to, and vertical are across. Congruent angles mean that the angles have the same measure. We can use adjacent, vertical, and congruent to solve problems when we understand that relationship. In example 1, these angles are across from each other, which means they're vertical, which means they're equal or congruent. Therefore, I can set them equal to each other. So 58 is equal to x plus 2. I then go ahead and I solve for x by using a one-step equation, and so I can say that x is equal to 56. In example 2, those angles are adjacent or next to each other. And it's indicated here that it's an angle indicator that they equal 90 degrees. So because they're next to each other and add up to 90, I can say that 43 plus x minus 2 is equal to 90. I need to combine like terms and then solve the one-step equation. I have x plus 41 equals 90. I subtract or add negative 41 to both sides, and I get x is equal to 49. This one is equal to each other because they're vertical and congruent in example 1. Example 2, they have a sum of 90, so I add them together. Please make sure you're familiar with this vocabulary. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Make sure you're writing questions. Make sure you're emailing. Make sure everything I write down, you write down, and making sure you're stopping and starting. Thanks. Have a good one.